Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton. Every day our news team is out in your community bringing you stories from the place where you call home. Here's a look at today's stories. And remember, you can always find more on our website, ccxmedia.org.
For Hennepin Tech student Alec Owens,
we had to literally put everything on pause for probably, a month or so.
The global pandemic is just another hurdle in his education to becoming a machinist.
Because when you stop, you start to lose a lot of that momentum, and it's hard to get back into the groove of things.
Last month, Governor Tim Walz signed an executive order allowing college students like Owens to return to campus for necessary in-person exams and classes.
If you think about it, machinists run the world. Without a machinist, you have nothing.
Machine tool instructor Craig Beringer says it only makes sense for his students to complete the class in person.
Companies don't want them to come in having a virtual understanding of machining. They got to know what to do with a machine.
Beringer says not being able to finish classes before fall would affect other classes.
These are just to get the students ready to go to second year side. Otherwise, the second year instructor would have no students.
In order for students to come back, colleges need to have a safety plan in place. For Beringer's class, only 9 students at a time are allowed, and machines are sprayed with disinfectants. Small tools are also sterilized.
We use an autoclave for cleaning all the metal parts. And then at 11:30, the new group comes in till 3.
All right.
Despite the extra cleaning steps, Owen says it's a relief to be back, especially if it means getting closer to the finish line.
It feels refreshing to just basically get back and, keep going with everything.
In Brooklyn Park, Pafuyang, CCX News.
A new partnership between the TwinWest Chamber of Commerce and Hennepin County will help to better connect job seekers with employment opportunities.
What we're finding now is as we have an increase in the dislocated workers, we've got more need now for that matchmaking and connecting. So everything from awareness of what positions are out there, but also skilling up and allowing people to shift career paths as needed.
Shannon Full is president of the TwinWest Chamber. She says the business group is in the process of developing a program with Hennepin County called Elevate Futures. The plan is to create a smartphone app that would make job opportunities more accessible to people seeking employment. Full says she'd also like to see the technology utilized by the different workforce agencies throughout the county.
It's a very innovative approach to workforce. We're really excited about it. We couldn't do it without the great partnerships that we have at the table from education currently, but also our public sector partners going forward. This does exist in other regions of the country, but it's the first here, and we're hoping that it has great results for the entire state.
A new partnership between the TwinWest Chamber of Commerce and Hennepin County will help to better connect job seekers with employment opportunities.
If you enjoy bird watching at all, you can come down here, Marshall Terrace Park, and check out the Heron Rookery. The best time is really April, May. Those herons come in. There's not any leaves on the trees yet. The bird watching there is phenomenal.
The great blue heron is the largest North American heron. They stand about 4 feet tall and their wingspan is over 6 feet. Despite their impressive size, they weigh only 5 to 6 pounds, thanks in part to their hollow bones, which is a feature all birds share. Back in early May, I shot some video of this very active colony.
The activity that you saw was most likely they were active, either building nests or actively feeding young. It's hard to say for sure. Most likely what you were seeing were birds bringing food to their young.
Great blue herons primarily eat small fish. They can hunt day and night thanks to a high percentage of rod-type photoreceptors in their eyes that help improve their night vision. Great blue herons fall into a category called colonial birds.
So a colonial water bird, or any kind of colonial species, is a bird that will they kind of nest in sometimes really tight colonies like a heronry, or sometimes a bit more dispersed. But for a heron, that's what we kind of have as a classic example of a colonial bird, in this case a colonial water bird. And there are a lot of reasons that they do that. Probably the main one is that safety in numbers.
How long does it take the incubation period once they lay eggs?
It takes a little longer for bigger birds. So, your typical songbird that you'd find in your yard, like a robin, it only takes them a couple weeks to incubate their eggs, whereas a bigger bird like a great blue heron takes a little bit longer. You're getting closer to a month there.
So then what is the parenting structure like?
Both parents participate. They did have different roles in nest building, but both of them participate in feeding the young.
Is this kind of the end of the breeding season for them?
Yeah, we're getting close to the point where you're just going to, the nest across the state will not be active anymore, and there'll be just young birds out across the landscape.
The good news is that there are still herons on the islands, and you can still see them as they go about their business. By the end of June, all the young will have fledged, and the herons will disperse to wander throughout the region. Since they dine on small fish, the herons here will migrate south for the winter, some going as far as the Caribbean. But if the colony had good success with their hatch, they'll return next spring to these same islands in the Mississippi around March or April to begin the breeding process all over again. On the shores of the Mississippi at Marshall Terrace Park in Minneapolis, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.